Okay.
Okay. So, and sorry, I think Ronald is going to ask the question. I think later I'll ask.
Okay. Okay, Ronald, please.
Hi, Professor Goswami. Hi, everyone. Congratulations for your excellent presentation. Thank you. Please let me tell my point of view about the subject of creation process. The
Creative process.
Creation process.
Right.
The quantum physics is the physics of possibilities, and there is infinite possibility. As Jesus said, everything is possible to who believe. Then first you must choose your desire. After your choice, these possibilities become probabilities. If you keep in your mind your choice with faith and perseverance, these probabilities will grow and finally become an actualization. On the other hand, the unconscious is a doorway to the non-local universe. When you ask and meditate with concentration, like our meditation today, and your desire is according with cosmic consciousness, your desire have great probabilities of manifestation. So, from the non-local universe, you have a direct connection with consciousness to receive all sorts of original ideas that will sure produce a materialization of your desire. Of course, there is much more things about this, but in my particular opinion, I think that is the basis of creation process. Hence, I think the quantum science of materialization follow this process. If I'm wrong, please tell me.
It is basically correct, except quantum.
What your opinion, please?
Ronald, what you have to recognize is that great spiritual teachers already anticipated some of it. We find it in Jesus's work, we find it in Patanjali's work, Yoga Sutra. We find it in Buddha's, some of Buddha's subsequent followers' work. So you are stating a fact. It is a fact that they were able to guess, without having a science, the creative process from just what they did themselves. They are very keen observers of their own process, and they figured it out without using current words that we use. For example, they did not have any distinction between conscious and unconscious. So they did not use those words that you are using. So those are the contribution of the modern science. The scientific approach has scientized, brought science into the thinking of the spiritual masters, who are guessing on the basis of their intuition. Intuition was the only guide. And today we have a protective process. We know that intuition has to be followed by the creative process, and all these details is what they didn't know. So reading them with the perspective of quantum, like you have been doing now, makes it clear they already had this idea. Okay, and that is correct. I'm completely agreeing with you. At the same time, realize that without the knowledge of quantum science that you already have, you would not be able to express their thinking in the way that you are expressing it now. And most people cannot make the connection. If you read interpretation of Patanjali in India, subsequent literature, you'll be shocked. They are not at all thinking the way quantum science is interpreting Patanjali's work or Jesus's work or Buddha's work. This is the contribution. In fact, if the Most of our scientists, if they had open mind, that they read the ancient literature and they really were interested in the phenomena, not their beliefs, then they could easily see this. And some people very slowly are seeing this, the importance of the four aspects of the creative process, the importance of unconscious processing. At least one great scientist wrote a book on creativity, in fact, where he endorsed the creative process, accepted the fact that there is unconscious, whereas other scientists still deny that there can be both conscious and unconscious in our processing. Brain is everything, they say. So, you know, this understanding is being prevented by one thing that we must always emphasize: the interdisciplinary nature of science. These disciplines we created were arbitrary. They are created as a necessity of making the focus to the extent that it was belief system permitted at that time. Look at it, physics first, but how did physics develop? From the get-go, it was physics of material objects. That's what physics was for a long time. We just said physics is the science of mechanical movement of material objects, you know, and then there would be no confusion. Confusion arose because, you know, initially biology had the concept of biological forces, vital forces they were called. They had the concept that it's not entirely physical. We're talking about different objects. Unfortunately, some people interpreted Darwin's theory in a way with the bold hypothesis, which at that time was bold. Bold hypothesis has to be permitted in science, otherwise everything stops. Free speech, that is important. So the bold hypothesis was that molecules can survive. Molecules can thrive to survive. Molecules are molecules. They don't have nothing to do with survival. That was a big hypothesis, that big molecules like DNA or protein, they somehow have the survivability as one of their properties, not just mass, charge, and other properties that we can see and know and study, but also some miraculously for macromolecules, the survivability property enters, and that connects molecules with biology, with evolution. Evolution then becomes a property of molecules as well. And they try to justify to their best. And then ever since, biology has been a defense of this hypothesis, this molecular hypothesis, molecular biology. And this is the biology.
Perfect.
This is the false biology. So, you know, unfortunately,
perfect.
Scientists are stuck with it. And interdisciplinary thinking is so lacking that people don't pay attention. If a physicist writes to write biology, I have already, but nobody pays attention. No biologist seriously pays attention. He is not a biologist. His prejudices kill us. So it's a very difficult story. How long it will change, it will take to change worldview, that's why we cannot predict, because people are not reasonable anymore. Just look at Brazil, look at America, what is going on. Both countries are going through an election pain. And you will see that, you know, study after study is showing people have become completely irrational. If you are a Democrat in America, then you are evil. Similarly, in Brazil, where you were, if you are an anti-Bolsonaro, then all Bolsonaro supporters are evil. And likewise, Bolsonaro supporters think that all supporters of Lula are evil. If this
exactly
occurs, then how can you even penetrate the mindset of they cannot talk. Just like the olden days where we used to think like that. Women are different. Men cannot possibly talk to women. Who knows the women's mind? Sanskrit prophets are like that. Who knows the women's mind, their character? How can you predict? So they are foreign objects. We cannot trust them. So subdue them, enjoy them. That is the only way to treat women. There you go. How can you love in that way? How can you love with that kind of mindset? Okay, let's move on.
Thank you. Gratitude.
Okay. Next question.